we put insulation in the roof, we put insulation in the walls, and we insulate. And so we can now get the carbon footprint of that building down simply by stopping that energy which we use being wasted outside, double glazing, etc., and all those technologies. The next generation of buildings is looking at it to harvest and store that energy. If you look at square meterage of building that we have in the UK, if you could actually use that to absorb energy, and I'm not just talking about photovoltaics, I'm talking about energy, thermal energy, anything else, use it for cleaning water, whatever we want to do with it, we need to get the idea of using a building as an energy source, so we can begin to take things, not necessarily off-grid, but reduce the footprint of that building. So if you think about a building now, and not the sort of lovely ones that we have in Kensington, if we start cladding that in PV, I think there could be a few discussions, shall we say. But if you look at, if I came up on the train this morning, and all along that train track is this type of building, the warehouses, the factories, the retail outlets, steel-clad buildings. That's what they look like now. What we'd like them to do is to be able to absorb that energy and use that energy in solar energy that is falling in that building. There are other ways of doing things as well. You can use temperature differences from the inside and outside of the building to drive things called thermoelectrics, where we can generate that power as well. So what we're looking at is turning that building into an energy source so that it can sort of govern itself. Really, providing things like photovoltaics onto a building can be absolutely useless if you just look at it in terms of capturing that energy. Because what tends to happen is you feed it back into the grid, you have to change it to a number of, from very small couple of volts to 240 and then up to 415 or 11 kilovolt, and pipe it back into the grid. All that conversion wastes energy, and you actually supply energy at the time when nobody wants it. So what you can't turn down a power station to number one. There's a minimum amount of power it has to generate, and there's a minimum, and there's a time lag between you deciding to turn up the power and that power being available. So actually supplying the grid with lots of power is only part of it. So what we're doing is looking at the three things where we can capture that energy, and we can do it using the printed electronics element, which is primarily talking about is sort of printed photovoltaics. So this is one that is on steel. So this is a photovoltaic cell. It's not as efficient in the same way the